Welcome back to AFL Supercoach. It's been a little while since my last video. I've been pretty sick. I think about 9 days or something, so I thought I'd better put out a quick one today while I've got time. I just wanted to give a shout out to my subscribers. I hit 100 subs over that time, so that was pretty cool. If you are watching the videos and you're not subbed already, do us a favour and click the sub button. But yeah, today's video, I'll do a preview on the Crom, seeing as they've just had their internal trial, or whatever you want to call it. I don't think there was a hell of a lot gained from a Supercoach perspective that we didn't already know, given that they were clearly experimenting with a few things, but there was still some stuff to take out of it. I'm not even sure if I'll bother previewing all the other teams, because I'm a Crom supporter, obviously. I don't really feel qualified to preview all the other teams top to bottom. I may do it, but probably run out of time, because the season it's almost here now. It's all practice games pretty much from now until round 0. And I apologise about my voice. It probably sounds quite a bit different and sick still, so thanks for putting up with that. So I'll start with the Crom's defence, as we always do, starting in defence. Mitch Hinge, he looked pretty good in the trial. Again, the only problem with him is that he's a Mr. Fix-It type. Now, they clearly look to give him the ball. He's got no problem getting the ball himself. I think there's upside on that average. He had a pretty big second half of last year too, so I can see him averaging like 90 to 95, but that's not going to really... He's not going to be top 8 defender. Given that score, you probably want him, or whoever it is, to be at least like 105, something like that, to be top 8. There is a little bit of value there though, but not enough when you've got guys like Hayden Young and that in a similar sort of price bracket. Brodie Smith, he's been a great workhorse, has his games where he absolutely tears it apart, but he's not really Supercoach relevant anymore. Miller could be, but he's always injured. He's currently injured now, so he didn't play in the trial game. I'm sure if he's fit for round 1, he'll be back in the team. So I'm not sure what that does for someone like maybe Dan Curtin's chances, which I'll get to that later. Worrell, he's an interesting one. He's pretty much averaged this like low to mid 70s since his first game in the AFL. So I think he's in his 3rd season now. He's probably one for the future. Like, he's real athletic. I think he's about 195 centimetres. So, actually, Curtin reminds me of Worrell, but I think Worrell could be a pretty decent scorer in the future. I don't think he'll ever be like a full primo, given the position that he plays. But if you can catch him at the right time, and obviously this would be really hard, say if he ends up averaging a 90 and he jumps from here to a 90 one day, if you can catch him at that time, he'd be good value. But I don't know when that's going to be. Chase Jones, he can have games where he's got a huge ceiling. He can also have games with the lowest floor. Like, he's pretty much anywhere between 30 and 130. And most of the time, that's more like around the 70 mark. So I would avoid... He was okay last year, I think it was, when he had that good run there. He came from nothing and made people a lot of money. But yeah, I wouldn't touch him this year. Crows have got way too many guys in that position. Like Saligo, I think the emergence of him is going to limit Jones's opportunity on the wing there. I know there's 2 wings, but I can see Curtin spending time on there. Hinge sometimes plays on the wing. Miller, they just got too many in that bracket. Nick Murray, he's currently injured. I don't think he'll be Supercoach relevant ever, but I will say I can see him becoming All-Australian calibre one day. They plucked him from nowhere, and I think his brother played in the trial game. So it'd be interesting to see if they also sign him eventually as well. But no, Murray, really good player, but yeah, not in a fantasy or Supercoach sense. Max Michelini, or however you say it, I still don't know, which is pretty bad considering I'm a staunch Crom supporter. I think that he's not bad value. He looks like in that trial game that he's added a bit of outside run and carry, which he was pretty much just a lockdown defender last year. He's an awkward price though, 313k. So I don't know. When you got like Buderick in the same price bracket, it's pretty hard to justify Michelani, but he did burst on the scene last year. Maybe there's a bit of value there. I could see him averaging like a 70 or something this year, so I don't know. I'm not picking him. I don't advise picking him, but if you did, good luck. Mark Keane, I think he's definitely solidified himself in the 22. He had a great end to last year in those 5 games. I think it's going to be him, Butts, and Worrell to begin with as the key defenders. I actually think Butts is the most at risk of being dropped because all he can do is play lockdown, and to be honest, since his first season, he's not been that great at it. I think he's lacking confidence or something by the look of him. So yeah, Keane, he's not going to be Supercoach relevant though. It's just more of a general footy sense. I think he's pretty good and a good pickup considering they got him for nothing. Borlace is the other one. Borlace could knock out Butts, but again, he's not really Supercoach relevant. Nankervis, a lot of people want him to get games. I think given the way that Adelaide's defence is, he's probably not going to get them. I know that there's supposedly this shortage of defenders at the Crom, and that's pretty popular in the media and stuff, but it's not true. As you can see, there's quite a few. Nankervis, if there's injuries, then he's a shot. But even then, I don't think that he's got the scoring power. Butts, yeah, don't touch, lockdown defender. Curtin, he's the interesting one. It's annoying that he's 175k because that makes it harder to pick him, but there's been these rumours going around all pre-season that he's injury prone and stuff. All he did was jar his knee, so it wasn't soft tissue or anything like that. Apparently, he wasn't even out for like 2 weeks or whatever, so it was just a standard knock on the knee, and he played it in the trial. Unfortunately, he had to play lockdown against Tex on the second team, and I think that's the only reason why he was in the second team, was to give him that learning opportunity of playing on Tex in a game. So I wouldn't read too much into that. I think he's definitely in the pitch for round 1. Probably not in the key defensive role because he needs to put on a bit of weight and muscle, but could definitely see him playing probably off the bench, or he may even get a shot on the wing. But yeah, he looks pretty good. He did a few good things, a few good spoils and stuff. There's obviously a reason that there were such high raps on him in the draft, so I think he'll be fine. Parnell, he took that great mark last year, didn't he? I can't remember if it was last year or the year before. Can't see him getting a run. Hamill, now he's an interesting one as well. So he played and he had no helmet, so he's had all the concussion problems, and it looked like his career was probably over. But he looked pretty good. Gave that run and carry that's his style in the trial. He was definitely one of the better ones on the yellow or the Bees team, as I'd refer to it as. If he can get a game, or if they got a few injuries or something, he'd be worth a shout at that price, but not right now. These last guys, I think Gallagher's the new guy from Ireland. Charlie Edwards, I think, played in the midfield. He's a good size. I think he matched up on Dawson. They're about the same size, so that was interesting. But yeah, none of them are really picks. I can't see them starting in round 1. So I'll move on to the midfield. Laird, I think he's becoming more popular. There was an article through the week where he said that he would try and increase his outside game, as he apparently did when Crouch come into the team in those last 6 games or whatever it was, end of last year. And his scoring was fine with Crouch in. I don't think they affect each other at all. He's a fine pick. I don't think just because he's 30, I can't see him regressing at all. There's no indicator why he would regress. Same as, the Libber type. When it's guys like McRae, who's approaching 30, there's signs that they're starting to regress. With Laird, there's been none, unless you want to count that one absolute outlier from round 1 last year, which I still lose sleep over, in the hot weather, where he scored a 50 or whatever it was. Dawson, another popular pick, set and forget. He's going to be better again, I think. But he's at risk of copping a tag. Not that really bothers him too much. His positioning, if you watch him around the centre bounces, is unbelievable. It always seems like everyone runs after the ball, and Dawson is the only one that doesn't, and yet the ball goes his way. I don't know how he does it. It must be just like this other sense that he has. But yeah, either of these two, you can confidently pick them. Matt Crouch, he's in my team. I think that's really good value at 490k. Surprised he's not in more teams, to be honest. Only 6% owned. He averaged like 108 in those last 6 games last year. So there's a fair bit of value there. I think that he'll go around that, the 105 mark, 108, something like that. Yeah, he'll either be a buy flip, I guess, if you're in the position to do that, or he could even end up a keeper. He's been All-Australian before and all that stuff. Set disposal records and things like that. So he's always been the quality. He's changed the way he plays now as well. So he's hitting more targets and he's definitely playing more attacking by foot. I think that obviously translates to more Supercoach points as well. So hopefully he continues that. And if you don't have him, I'd be locking him in. Rory Sloane, he used to be an absolute Rolls Royce, but obviously he's old now. I think he's 34 this year, and he's got like a detached retina and all that stuff going on, so hard avoid there. And it will be interesting in round 1 though, because Sloane, I'm pretty sure, is the guy that gets the 4th most CVAs for the Crows in those last 6 rounds, so after Dawson, Laird and Crouch. So I'm not sure who's going to be the 4th man now. If Sloane's not ready for round 1, you would think he probably wouldn't be, because there's some gas build up or something in his eye that he needs to wait for to come down. And just given his age and stuff, he probably wouldn't be in that role anyway, you'd think. So yeah, I don't know. Does that open the door maybe for Sam Berry? Like, he looked pretty good in the trial, but I'll get to him. Chase Jones, already did him as a defender. Saligo, I think he'll step up and maybe increase his average up to like 80, 85, something like that. He should get a fair amount of ball, as I expect Adelaide will naturally progress this year and make finals and push the top 4, hopefully. But again, he's an awkward price, so yeah, I wouldn't be picking him. I don't think there's enough upside there. Lockie Scholl, he just looks lazy to me. He's got good skills and stuff, but he kind of looks like he always lopes around, as if he's got like McLeod acceleration or something, which he just doesn't have at all. So I'm not sure what's going on there. I don't think he'll ever be particularly Supercoach relevant. He needs to lock down a spot in the 22 first, so he could see himself on the trade table or something very soon. Schomburg, obviously he's out with I think he's got the Achilles, so we won't see him for quite a while. Braden Cook, he looked okay. Just the one match last year and he scored a 70. Again, I can't see a spot for him. So as I mentioned before, Berry, he did look good in the trial. He would have been the best midfielder on the second team. Can you have him and Crouch in the same team because they can't play anywhere else? Probably not. But yeah, if Sloane is out, Barry might get a run to begin with. It was hard to ignore. I thought he was really good in that trial. So surely the coaches can't ignore it for too long. He did look like he was going to be one of the future stars of the team not so long ago. I don't know what happened last year, but he completely fell off a cliff. I had him in my starting team last year, so that really hurt. Curtin already talked about, these 3 at the end, they're not going to get games, so at least not to begin with. Not much on the ruck front. O'Brien and Strawn. I can't see Strawn getting a game at all. Thilthorpe spending more time in the ruck, and he was really good in that internal trial. I think Thilthorpe's your classic big man that he relies on confidence, so he needs a good start. Otherwise, he kind of goes missing. Hopefully, that gets better with age, but it's being reported that he's one of the ones to watch for a breakout this year. Hopefully, it's true. If that happens, Strawn's finished. I'm not sure if he wants to go to another team or whatever, or if he's happy to sit there as the insurance, getting paid decent money forever. But yeah, he's not an option. Rob's not really an option either. Not with these other like Gawn and Grundy picks around. He didn't have as good of a year last year either. The only thing that might save him is that the new rule where you can straight arm rucks, because he is really strong. But I don't know. I think that's more going to favour, like, obviously your big tank types like Shrek and Briggs. So yeah, forwards, obviously it's thin at the Crows in terms of Supercoach. It's thin across the whole Supercoach world this year. There's not really any great picks this year in Supercoach. There's just picks that are less shit than others, in my opinion. Tex will probably do the same again. I don't think he's going to drop off. He had like 4 goals or something by quarter time in the trial. I get that he was playing on Curtin, but he didn't look any different. It was just like a continuation of this year. So yeah, he'll still be around that mark, I think, just scoring like an elite key forward does, really, just around the 90. So not really a pick. Rankin, he looked really good in the midfield when he was in there in the trial. I don't think that's going to translate into real games though. Maybe he'll get a few like 5-minute runs in there or something, but probably not enough to increase his scoring too much. I'd actually be interested to look at the breakdown on how he scores, because I got a feeling that a lot of his score just comes from goals. I could be wrong. But yeah, the overall consensus in the footy world is that Rankin and Rochelle are going to spend more and more time in the midfield, but I actually can't see it happening myself. I definitely can't see it happening while there's no other really good small forwards apart from those two at the Crom. Keys is really good, I think, but he plays a completely different role. He's not there to score goals or anything. He plays that high half forward, kind of like the extra midfielder role. And he'll tag guys if necessary, like he makes Sard his bitch every year. But yeah, not a pick in Supercoach. Although, having said that, if Sloan is out for those first few weeks, Keys could be the man in the middle, the 4th man. And we know that he can score pretty well when he is in the middle. So keep an eye on that one, but at this stage, it's not looking to be a goer. Rochelle, I think he'll definitely increase his average, maybe even up towards 90, to be honest. He's probably more likely to get more midfield time than Rankin, as Rankin's the better forward. Again, I'm not picking him. Awkward price, too much risk. He may not take that big step up. I don't advise picking him. I think there's a lot of, this time of year especially, a lot of beat up for these high draft picks and that. Obviously, I rate Rochelle highly, but it's kind of like the media thinks every player is going to break out. And as we know, most of them don't. Lockie Murphy, he was in the second team, so that was a bit odd to see, seeing as usually Matty Nix is a big fan. I know the Crom Nuffies in various Crows forums will be happy with that one though, because I've been calling for his head for a long time. But from a Supercoach perspective, he's never been relevant. Neither has Darcy Fogarty. He didn't play in the trial. He's injured or something. Thilthorpe with 332. It's an interesting one. I guess not, because, I guess you can take a few risks in the forward line this year, given how many shitty options there are, or like lack of good options. But yeah, there's probably better roles and stuff than than what Thilthorpe has. The problem with him is that he does have the ability to look $1 million. There's been, I think it was a showdown last year or something where he just went crazy, and then there was, I think the year before or something, there was a game against St Kilda up in Darwin, or was it Alice Springs? I can't remember, but he won the game off his own boot and just went crazy. And then there's other games where he looks like he wouldn't even make the reserves team, so don't get sucked in. Pedler I started last year only because I knew how highly Nick's rated him, so I knew that he'd be getting game time. Unfortunately, he played way more forward than I thought he would. Didn't really get any meaningful CBAs. I think that'll be the case again this year. He plays that half forward role like Keys, so I can't see him jumping up too much unless he starts kicking a lot straighter at goal. Gallant, he's way back in the pack. He's behind Tex, Thilthorpe, Fogarty. The only way he's getting in is if one of them gets injured, and even then, I'm not sure who gets the spot out of him and Burgess. I'd probably give it to Gallant just because he's younger and probably has more upside. McHenry, he's fallen out of the 22 and can't find a way back in. He's pretty much that Morris Rioli type that he's really good at tackling in the forward half and putting pressure on, but apart from that, he doesn't do too much else. So he's not getting back in the team, I think, unless he adds some strings to the bow. Himmelberg got absolutely touched up by Thilthorpe in the trial. He looks like he's just not interested, so to be honest, I have no idea why they even kept him. He should have been allowed to go to GWS. Burgess, he's just there for insurance. He won't start round one. There's no way he's getting a gig back or forward. And then Dowling, he's not going to start either. So that's my take as a Crom supporter. To be honest, there's not a hell of a lot of relevant Crom players. Really, it's in the midfield. You're just looking at the top three here. I wouldn't be considering really anything outside of there. Maybe Curtin as a rookie. But to me, there's no other obvious ones. Let me know if you, as a Crom supporter or a supporter of another team, can see another angle on this, and if you think that there's anyone that might be worth a pick. Because, it's pretty common for supporters to get blinded by things with their own team. So, yeah, let me know. And again, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It's nice to know that people are actually watching and enjoying this stuff, so it's worth the effort. But other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.